Happy Beyblade Day! LucarioShirona here! So I'm gonna redo, like, looking through up the Beyblade history. If you're wondering, like I said, this is Beyblade Day, which is according to March 21st, which is first to 3, 2, 1, go shoot, or in North America, let it rip. So I'm gonna go look through the history of Beyblade according to Hasbro. So, and then we're going to actually later on look through the history through Takara Tomy and see what things they might have left out or whatnot. I'll address it with my own opinions throughout the time. So, let's just get through this. So, the original generation, Beyblade. I grew up with this one, so let's take a look at today's list. So, 1999, Beyblade Takara Tomy toy launches. Okay, so it's just two errors within that spot I'm gonna need to address. Originally, Takara were actually separate from Tomy. They were originally separate at the time. And this was also the case with the original generation. If you actually look at the original box, you can look at it yourself. It had a different logo. It did not have Takara Tomy. Also, the logo there is for the anime, which came out, if I remember correctly, 2001. This is not accurate. This is not accurate. This is a complete error on Hasbro's part. This might be also contribute to Takara making that mistake as well. I don't know. We'll find out later. And then next we got the manga release. Now I appreciate here that they actually showed the original Japanese release. Though it's not the Korokoro, I'm pretty sure they were Korokoro, but yeah, you can see the logo right there. You might not be able to see it. It says Korokoro Comics. So yeah, it did release the Korokoro magazines first before they got their own issues. If you're keeping up with Beyblade X, then you understand how it works. It's been the same since the very beginning. And next we go to 2002, where this is where I first learned about Beyblade through Hasbro. Their advertisement through TV, the toys release, and I was hooked. I did not know there was an anime for this. Thus, the animated series that came out, if it was on the same year. The dub, I would have to say, because the original anime in Japan, it did release in 2001. So, Beyblade is animated series that is focused on a group of friends and their highly powerful Beyblades. Each Beyblade is enchanted with spirits of mythical and powerful creatures, and the Beybladers, as they're known, work as a team to fight against others to win blading competitions. Along the way, Beybladers meet many new friends and enemies to become the ultimate Beyblade champions. And that's pretty. That's accurate. That's accurate. So that's an accurate way to describe it. Yes, it is majority of the series. The season one is tournament arcs of, but different. It's taken differently through each kind, differently for each arc. But leading up to final arc, I suggest you check it out yourself. This one's really good. Next one is 2003 with V-Force Hasbro toy launch. Yeah. Okay. So fun story. I kind of end up finding out the second season, the midway through the original series, because V-Force was going around in Japan first. There was second season, and then also the anime. I got excited after watching the first season, and I see the animation has updated to 2D. 3D animated Bay battles. That was exciting. But the dubbing only managed to do the first episode, so I had to watch reruns of season 1 before the dub would cover more. I didn't know how dubbing worked at the time, so I was a little upset. I was upset. I did not know how English dub works or anime, so yeah. And then we got ourselves the Beyblade G Revolution Hasbro toy launch. Yeah, okay, see it says there right there. And then next we have Beyblade G Revolution for V4 G Revolutions. And this one's really good. So yeah, this one's actually really good. Yeah. I really like G Revolutions as well. Both the first season and G Revolutions are really good. It has one of the most shakeups, I have to say. So next we have is the BBA World Championships, August 17, 2004, Times Square, New York. The event featured competitors from USA, Canada, Australia, United States, onwards in Japan. There's also a BBA Times Square Rumble tournament that featured 128 competitors from North America throughout the day. Over 1,000 competitors attended the event, including local and international TV crews and photographers. Oh man, I would have loved to see that. That was not covered as far as I'm aware. Exactly. For me, I remember the one that they actually did cover that was in space. I don't know, the space place. I don't know. Did they cover that? That was during season 2 of V Force. They covered it very well. I loved it. I kind of wish they did more. I don't know. It's hard to say. It was a big gap. And then we go to Beyblade Metal Fusion or Metal Fight in Japan. And starting with 2008, Beyblade Metal Fight in Takara Tomy launches. I actually like the fact that they actually addressed it by the original name. So yeah, understandably, this is Hasbro's website, so they're addressing it through the English names. But the fact they cover it in Takara Tomy's original name, that's pretty cool. Now, I'm gonna be blunt. Most of you who keep up with my Beyblade videos would likely know that I skipped out on Metal Fusion. And this was mostly due to personal reasons. I won't get into it. I just didn't have access to cable TV at the time for personal reasons, so they kind of cut off. So I was not able to watch Metal Fusion. And looking at now, the dub, which is probably the best way to watch the anime. I don't know. The Japanese subs has not been available. Well, it's not been done as far as I'm aware. But the dub sucks. Oh gosh, I don't know what happened, and I'm not saying this as nostalgia hitting me in terms of how they handle the generations. If you actually compare the two and how they handled the direction, you'll understand why I say that the original generation English dub is significantly better than the dub for Metal Fusion, and that turns me off. Oh gosh, the voice direction. I don't know who the voice director is. They suck. They suck. They did some of the returning voice actors from the original season dirty in this one. So yeah. The Metal Fusion toys. And next we have the Metal Masters, which is season 2. I don't have a preference, as like I said, I never watched it. I will never watch the dub unless it is done in the meme-ish way. Oh, I would love somebody to provide the Japanese subs with English subs. So next we have Metal Fury, which is the 3rd season. And people get a little crazy for this one, even though there's some cases that might not be the true. Then we got the World Championships. This one also was covered, but it was painstakingly pretty average. World Best Bladers who run each other growing long advance led RIP on March 25th, 2012. I was in high school. Well, I was kind of in high school. The second World Championships in the history of Beyblade took place in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Wait, what? I'm Canadian. What? And it was a collaboration between Takara Tomy, Sono Kong, dang, Hasbro and Nirvana. After an intense match in Toronto Bay Stadium, Ryu from Japan crowned the winner of the Beyblade World Championships. Now, I'm gonna say this, Hasbro did not handle this well, where they chose to use the Takara Tomy Stadium, and not just a standard one. They chose the gimmicky one, which never released in America, North America at all. So, understandably, the Rio, no offense, I'm nothing against the Rio. You definitely won. You took the advantage of it because you actually know how to use the stadium. But this was a definite disadvantage to some of the fans, some of the North American bladers. So that sucks. There were also not other things to address that they didn't cover properly. Yada yada yada. So let's keep going forward. Next to Beyblade Shogun Steel, which was also 0G in Japan. Yeah, this was not well received, the anime at least. There was a bit of a lot to say about it. Funny enough, I do own Shogun Steel Beyblade, or 0G, which is Steph's Phoenix. And this was, I got it during the X generation. It was actually fairly priced, mind you. It went up in price afterwards on being bricks. So I got that one because it was a Phoenix in attack type, and it was also painted like Sword Phoenix or Phoenix Wing. I got it because of the similarities. Oh gosh, that's hilarious. That's my only metal generation Beyblade I officially own that. Still have it. It's I technically have it for some time, but yeah, what can I say? All right, now we're going to Beyblade Burst. So, 2015, I heard about the teaser about it, and it actually struck my interest because I actually like the idea that they burst. I know there are people who did not like the idea, but I actually like the idea because it kind of brought one element from the past generations of Beyblade into a mechanic, into play feature of the generation of Burst, which is Beyblade exploding. I like that. I told my sister about it. I showed her about it. She was also intrigued on the idea too. So yeah, this is the concept that both my sister and I like, and she just prefers the original generation of Beyblade. She does like the idea of these Beyblade bursting, mind you. So this is coming from the fact that my sister prefers the first generation Beyblade. So yeah, there's doing something right here. So here we go, Beyblade Burst, the anime and toy line release for Hasbro, starring Vault. I missed out majority of the anime originally. I missed out. This was actually this is not a bad anime. This is a different kind of feel because it doesn't focus on the fantasy elements. It started to roll in a little bit more in the second season, and then they pull out the Burst Strike, yada yada yada. Actually, I'm curious. Oh, okay. So, fun fact. I almost led myself to. I almost bought a single layer wyvern. Wyvern, you know, yeah. Wakia's Beyblade. I almost bought that Beyblade that time. But then I was just debating with myself, oh, what should I get? Should I get the Beyblade or should I get the DLC for Super Smash Bros. For 3DS? I only had the 3DS at the time, but yeah, in context, yeah, I was debating on between completing my DLC for Super Smash Bros. 3DS or getting my first Beyblade. I did not have too much attachment for the burst at the time because I don't have the attachments to the characters. I couldn't watch the anime at the time, so I end up getting the DLC. So there's a little fact for you to know. So we got to Beyblade Burst Evolutions, where I end up getting Beyblade, the remakes, where Hasbro actually start doing the remakes. Not a lot, but my sister and I end up getting because they finally did it. The original generations routed to the burst formats. So then we have the Beyblade Burst Evolution, which is now they start bringing some fantastical fantasy elements to it. It's kind of weird. After the first season, not might be everybody's cup of tea. People talk about Red Eye Shu turning bad. And whenever we get somebody go evil, they always refer back to Red Eye. What happened to Kai? He was the first. Oh, goodness. Okay, so next we have Beyblade Burst Turbo, and this was to start to peek into one of the Hasbro's most controversial turns. Originally, the original gen starting out the Burst, Hasbro changed up a lot of the Burst Beyblades, which weren't bad at first, but it's starting to become obvious once we get to Turbo with Slingshot. Yeah, so here we are introduced to Iger or Iga, and this was actually the first anime I watched first. And despite the idea that I'm watching the third season of Burst, thankfully, in the ways, this was kind of a soft reboot because they were starring Iger, so it wasn't too out of place for me to start. To know that Iger was a new character. Iger is that to kind to accept the fact that Vault is a long-established character. Yeah, but he was also placed as a supporting character at the same time, so that was not a big deal for me to get into Burst easily. And Achilles became one of my favorite Burst motifs. I actually own all the Achilles bays, accordingly to the anime at least. Even the Quad Strike. Yes, I actually basically own that, a very single one of them. So yeah, let's move forward. The Beyblade World Championships events that's not really addressed here. I guess they worked. It was, I don't know what happened. And then we had the Chara Expo. Chara Expo Finals Tournament. Check out their. Oh! They also feature. Oh yeah, they mentioned the Beyblade Geeks. Yeah, so as soon as I get back to Beyblade, the first channel I actually got into, subscribed to, the Beyblade channel I got to is the Beyblade Geeks. So yeah, and then we had the Burst Rivals app, which was a puzzle game. Yeah, and then you got the Burst app. Wait, it came out 2018. Wow, huh. Okay, so next up we have the 2020, which is Billy Burst Rise. And that's when when we realized that the game Hasbro really deviated away. What made uh, Turbo different is that they tried to keep a fair amount of the gimmicks in, but the only big difference is that they removed the metal. But yeah, what are you gonna do? But Rise was the biggest offender to the whole thing. The next we have the Beyblade Masters Invitational 2020. Now this was interesting. Looking at the 12 competitors around the world have chosen the battle additional stage. Understandable because this was during the pandemic and we had to all be quarantined. So this was the best case scenario to handle it. And we have the lunch and they have listed out all the guests. I don't recognize some of them, but I do recognize Zenki, Ilnok, Beyblade Geeks. Yeah, actually surprised that they actually bothered to list them out, especially Zenki, because if you don't know, during Beyblade X, he kind of got blacklisted from Hasbro because I respect him because he spoke up about how cheap Hasbro was doing with handling bursts. So thankfully that's not the case anymore with X, but they did blacklist him, and you can understand what I mean by that. They didn't give him anything. They give Ilnok, they give Nizuma, Beyblade X stuff, but not Zenki. But he's still doing what he can. So yeah, I'm just surprised they even decided to, but you know what? This probably was done to avoid backlash because Hasbro has got a lot of backlash. So this is one way to avoid another one. So props to whoever who decided to list out all the guest names. So yeah, including Zeki. So yeah, that's good on Hasbro for not stepping out. So next we have Surge. This next season. I also watch this one. This is also when I'm starting to notice that these 3 seasons next, the Rise, Surge, and later Quad Drive, they were actually much shorter seasons. And that's likely due to the format that the Takara Tomy went. They went a little cheaper, apparently, thus shorter episodes, 10-minute episodes. Thus, it was shorter. There are a lot of story beats don't feel fleshed out because of that. So that really sucked, in my opinion. And it kind of dipped. And then we got Burst Quad Drive with their innovative Quad Drive system. It's fascinating, but it wasn't revolutionary because of what Takara Tomy did. And next we have the Anime Expo. Where was this? Anime Expo, championships, and then I don't know where that was. Next you have the Anime New York, Burst Quad Strike panel, and then you have Quad Strike. Was very fascinating to me, as the anime, for instance, did initially the Quad Drive or Dynamite Battle was Takara Tomy's last season of her Beyblade Burst, but they still made toys afterwards. But the anime, it sucked. Their whatever conclusion or their send off to Beyblade Burst was bad. It sucked. The characters were not great either, so this was bad. But in comparison to Quad Strike, I don't know what happened, but this one turned out good. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't amazing. But this was actually serviceable as a season finale. We brought back Bladers. We brought back the protagonist. And he gave a proper conclusion. The original character, Pre and Scythe, were major highlights. The original characters they introduced are miles better than what came before. Better than Bell. I'm so better than oh god. I am sorry for anybody who likes the protagonists of from previous seasons, but their growth is not all the candles are Prey. Oh gosh, that must be a big hot take. But the writing for character and her brother is actually really good. So this was a good. This Hasbro did something Takara Tomy didn't, and that was providing an anime proper send off for the anime. The manga was just fine. This was actually a lot. The ending for the anime was a lot like the manga. Best way to describe it. Just minus Pre and Scythe. Pre and Pax. Pax! Oh gosh. I completely forgot his name. It's Pax! Oh gosh, I'm stupid. Next, so just moving forward to Beyblade X. And this is my first generation where I start from the very beginning. I'm start fresh. I'm actually starting fresh with Beyblade X. This is my first generation where I actually tuned in for the first time. I got Drawn Sword, all the first line of Beyblades. I'm keeping up. And we had the Beyblade Park, the Blow Blocks, it's something. And then we have Hasbro toy launch. And it actually... And the fact that Hasbro is actually keeping the quality, that's likely due to because of the cross collab with Takara Tomy. So that's the best thing to happen. The anime is it's okay. It's alright. It's not the best. This is the first anime to follow the manga closely. And that kind of hurts the whole overall story because they wanted to tell a story of an underdog that keeps on losing, Bird or Robin Kazami. But it's the later episodes, the last arc of the episode that actually ends up carrying the whole season. So if you're willing to watch the anime and if you're willing to watch the X anime, it isn't perfect, but the final arc is actually pretty good. I assure you will love the final arc of season 1. So yeah, we're going to season 2 and things getting intense. So yeah. That's it for Hasbro. There is some details that they definitely only address only for the Hasbro toy line and such, and what Hasbro contributed. But this is pretty decent. This is a decent lineup. Now we'll get to Takara Tomy, and ooh, I like this. They show the bays right there. So let's take a look to see what this, oh, I just realized I didn't need to do Google Translate. They actually have an actual translation right here. Let's see if I can just at least do it. So yeah, yeah. Okay, we'll just try to see what happens. Translate, this is from Japanese, so yeah, so see how the old generations with their Japanese logos and such. So we'll just take a look through, starting with I actually like how they address it as, yeah, the first generation, but like it didn't shoot, is how I addressed the original generation, Metal Fight, Burst, and X. So let's just start beginning, and you're gonna see a huge difference. Yeah, there he is. So okay, so this is definitely something that Hasbro did not address, but this is likely due to because of what they couldn't cover, might not be allowed to cover. So under the name Next Generation Begoma Battle Beyblade, 3 models including the Ultimate Dragon were released. The History of Beyblade got its start here. So yeah, this actually covers more of the system's release, and they actually even covered the Next Generation Begoma Battle Beyblade. Hey! And if you did not know, it started out as a Game Boy game, a Pokemon clone. I'm not kidding. You can look out the Zuma's channel to see how he explains it, and he's going to say the same thing. The next thing is they actually go in depth. So next thing is Dragoon. This is the first time they added rubber with Dragoon Grip Attacker. I do not own this Beyblade. I will love it because this was the first time we were introduced to the dragon we all know and love, the Ryu, the blue Asia dragon. And then next we have the spin gear. This is the most revolutionary. This is very revolutionary because this allows any parts, in particular before the original, to be left and right spin. Any attack ring, any defense ring, any blade base made for the spin gear can go any directions, and they made sure to maintain that for the rest of this generation. And then that's when the anime came out. And then you had new Beyblades such as Woolboard, Trigo, Tripio. Oh gosh, they had the mentioned Tripio was a bit of a meme. They introduced the F series with more new type of gimmicks in the full. So this is actually an interesting fact. So Drigger is actually pronounced as Driger, as in tiger, Driger. The name Drigger was pronounced in the dub, and this was not corrected in the birth. Okay, so fun fact: they could have corrected it during the video presentation in the Hasbro side of things during when they released the Burst remakes, and they still pronounce it as Drigger. And guess what? I'm sticking with Drigger. I'm sticking with Drigger going forward. So despite the fact that it's technically called Driger technicality, I'm still pronouncing it as Drigger. Thanks, Nirvana! They also did some right things, to be honest. So, yeah. And next, we had the V-Force series, the V series. Yeah, that's the dub being called V-Force. The Magnet System. The way they interact with the stadium. You can basically customize the stadium any way you want going forward. The next, you had the anime. And then you had the World Champion Series, the World Champion 6, the team. And next, you had the V2 series, which had a pretty cool system with the magnets. And they addressed the movie. Beyblade back then shoot the movie Furious Battle. Tako versus Daichi. This is Daichi's animated debut, which is cool. Next we have the G series, which is the Engine Gear, the 3rd season, and then you have the anime, and then the next you have the GT series introduced, and they only had 2. Now, fun fact, I did not know that it was just only Dragoon and Dronzer that got the Beyblades. I thought Drasil and Drigger had one, but they didn't. And they brought for the HMS. Now, given the time, gosh, that's short. Goodness. Well, that explains a lot. You see that? June 2003, August 2003, that is not far off from each other. Goodness. Good gracious. That explains a lot. They must have, it seems that the HMS came in quite quickly, so they didn't have, so, I don't know, conspiracy theory, looks like, I guess, that Drasil and Drigger was completely dropped for the HMS. Their GTs for Drigger and Drasil probably were dropped completely when they transitioned to HMS. They didn't get the World Championships. Oh, look, they addressed New York Times Square, the one from Hasbro listed. That seems to be it. They didn't dress the gimmicky line though, so that's kind of strange. Ugh. Sorry, I've been talking a lot. So next we have the metal fights. Like I said, I don't have much experience with it. And then you have the the original release. You have the new digital devices kind of thing. Gun Stadium, their first arcade, their first left spin, and this is with El Drago, their first left spin for Metal Fight, and this is kind of the start when they make left spin. They made it specifically. How do I describe it? They made it so that it's really just that one Beyblade. Made it its gimmick. Its gimmick is solely being left spin. And everything that Bakutin brought is thrown down the drain. And I mean that making any Beyblade both directions that I mean. So, I don't know how you feel about it. It was kind of unfortunate they took away the use of allowing both directions for any Beyblade. They make it a primary gimmick, so it's kind of a bit of a cop-out in my opinion. They got a hybrid wheel system introduced. You got some new ones. These are the ones introduced in the anime, just like the first generation. And then you got some for Lightning Out Drago, Earth Eagle, Aquila. They're addressed by their new names. And then you got 2010, the hybrid reel system. And you got the anime. And this is when okay, so yeah, this is interesting. I still was not around that time. Well, no, I wasn't paying attention because I did not have experience with the anime. You got a new El Drago, and then the new Beyblades. The two infamous Beyblade that took the competitive scene by storm. Well, not like competitive scene fully. Hell Kerbex and Twisted Tempo. They don't address the original names, so I don't know what they're originally called. So, yeah. And then the 4D system, where they got a little more gimmicky. And then the Asia Championships are held. And then the next you got the Zero Gs. Zero G, and this was the most gimmicky. It has mixed opinions, the anime. The toy line, I don't know, it didn't do well, but just like the HMS, people are starting to have a new outlook on it. So it honestly, oh look, they also addressing the tournament in Toronto. So cool on Takara Tomy addressing that. Yeah, Zero G's. They're also being seen, the last system being seen on the positive light as well. So next up is the Burst Generation, and I say they lasted this long because they didn't try to take a, as far as where they lasted long because they didn't really take the risk of making completely something new-ish, I would say. They just kind of amped up the generator, amped up the Burst Beyblades. I'll explain soon. So yeah, here we go. The original system. You got the Bay Cloud system. This was the original. They called Bay Cloud? I thought they were called a Bay Logger. You know, but yeah. And then they introduced the Excalibur. This was important because this was kind of the first Beyblade to have a single point, 1 point contact points. The striking force wasn't. I can't describe it. Sorry, I should have brought myself a water bottle. Free store terminal. Yeah, and you get the dual layers. The anime, you got that. You got the first left spin. It's not the first year. By the second year, was it? When did it came out? Yeah, I think, yeah, it was the second year. So, yeah, Long it is, Lost Long it is. The next, you got the anime for Burst Gods, which is evolutions in the dub. And these are how the Beyblade is supposed to originally look like. Going forward. Going on. And then you got the Chozi layers, which they use metal parts, which became noticeable for the Hasbro version that they removed them. And then you're going to choose the Chozi system. Actually, interesting, I realized that Hasbro has not addressed the Pro Series at all. Because they started with the Chozi system to kick off their the Pro Series lines. So, which is basically releasing loosely accurate Takara Tomy built Beyblades. And then we got the Shikiko Layer series. I can't pronounce that. The GT series. And then you got more of them. I got that. I got Eugene Achilles. I got the Master. I got a Master Diablos or Diabolos. I don't have the accurate combo, but what I got was pretty cool. I got the two 2020s with his Super King layer. And then going forward, all the gimmicks, then the limit break system. Again, Final Fantasy vibes. And then you got Dynamite Battle layer. I got this is where I kind of start to collect Beyblades with my own income. So I got some of the DB bays. I end up getting. Then you get some overdrives, and then you got the Burst Ultimates that never got an anime. I end up getting most of the main releases for the BU line. And next you get the X generation, the one generation that I actually first joined. Got all this, got the Battle Pass, I think I did the training center. I never checked it out. I wish I could have, but I never don't have the money to go to Japan. And then you have the X remakes, the X Over remakes, the Phoenix, the UX line, Cobalt Dragoon. You got more. You got the tournaments, the Asia Championships, and that's about it. Looks like they updated a little bit more. I did check out this page, this history from Takara Tomy before, but this is up to date with the recent release. We'll soon get CX, and I'm excited for CX. Yep. Oh boy. Yeah. Oh man, that's a long history. And compared to Hasbro, yeah, this is a star contrast. How long this video's been? 43 minutes. Wow. Okay, so yeah, this is a long history, so yeah. Understandably, this is because of how Hasbro distributes Beyblades. They release in chunks, big amounts of Beyblades, in compared to Takara, whereas it's just small. It's like certain lineups are released, so it's kind of understandable. I can see why Hasbro couldn't do it as detailed as Takara's, but yeah, if you really want to get a proper in-depth history of Beyblade and the releases they have, and the Takara Tomy is definitely your bet going forward. I don't know what else they'll do. We'll see. The Hasbro website might update because this is pretty up to X. This is up to date. So we'll eventually, and then see how they format it. I do say they will have to eventually release one for the season 2. Well, yeah, well, yeah. So I guess that's it. Ah, my gosh. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about this? I don't have much else to say. I just wanted to take a look, have a reason to have a video out for Beyblade Day. So yeah, that's not much else to say. So, yeah. All right. Well, hopefully we'll get CX soon. And until next time, bye bye.